All right, it is time for August TBR. Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm super excited to be here today and to share with you this video. I am going to be sharing with you the books I plan on reading in August, and I'm super excited to say that I'm going to participate in Berna's Bookish Bingo. So Berna from Berna's Bookish Adventure is having a Booktube Anniversary this month, and as such, she has decided to do a bingo card like the Berna's Bookish Bingo, which she did all of last year, I believe it was last year, in a style where we can all participate. And so I'm really excited to do this. So I'll leave a link to her announcement video up above and down below. There are 9 prompts, so it's a 3x3 card, and the prompts were submitted by Bookish friends. So it was really cool to see what got picked and who submitted stuff and how it all laid out and all of that good stuff. And so so now I'm going to share what I have picked for each of the different prompts. So for A1, the prompt was to reread a book. Now, I actually don't do tons of rereading, so I was a little worried about that, and then I realized, oh, I'm buddy reading the Series of Unfortunate Events. So the next title that we have to read is The Slippery Slope by Lemony Snicket. This is the 10th book in the Series of Unfortunate Events. I am rereading this with Izzy, and Kate Kelly is reading it for the first time. The live shows are on Izzy's channel towards the end of the month. I'll put the information for that down below. I'm really looking forward to it. This one is one of my favorites, and I actually did not have a copy of this, so I had to buy one. It's actually new. I think almost all the other copies I got from my first time reading it were used, but this one's new, but it still has the deckled edges, which always make it hard to find a page. That's neither here nor there. So reread, and I actually have 2. So this one I am very confident that I will get to, and the other one I am hoping I am going to get to it, but and that is Beautiful Creatures by it's Cami Garcia and Margaret Stohl. This is the first book in the Castor Chronicles, I believe it's called. It's a YA paranormal series. It doesn't say. I'm pretty sure it's the Castor Chronicles. So this is the first book. It's like 500 pages. And the reason I need to reread it is that the second book in the series is one of the oldest books on my Goodreads TBR. Now, the oldest books on my Goodreads TBR have been there for 10 or more years, and I read this, I guess, 10 or more years ago. I actually cannot remember. It was in the YA paranormal boom, and so that sounds about right. So I couldn't go into book 2 without rereading book 1, so I'm hoping I can get to it, and we'll see. It's a hefty one. Hopefully it'll read fast, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so for A2, we have a book with an animal on the cover. This was the easiest pick. I knew right away what it was going to be, and that is Mammals. So I've been reading this Dorling Kindersley handbook on mammals, and so I hope that qualifies. I am looking forward to it. Oh, threatened animals. Is that a hippopotamus? No, rhinoceros. Oh, I gotta figure out how to tell hippopotamus from a rhinoceros. We have a tiger. A whale? Pink river dolphin. Oh, pink river dolphin. So, I'm not that far yet. I'm still in the introduction, koalas. So, yeah, I will be reading about mammals. I hope it's okay, just read stuff I've already started. I shouldn't even have said that. I shouldn't even have mentioned that, because I'm just going to do it. So this is also a library book, and I will hope to finish it by the end of the month, because I am finishing up my library going probably by the end of the month. So yeah, there's still a lot of pages left on this one, so we'll see how that one goes. But I've really enjoyed it so far. Okay, prompt number A3 is to read a book with a 3 or 9 in the title, or the title involves a 3 or a 9. I'm going to go with The Last Guardian by Jeff Grubb. This is the 3rd book in the Warcraft series that I have been reading, and so although there's not a 3 on this particular cover, I hope that works, because that is the one that I found for it. It would also finish a series for me, which would be bonus. B1 is to read an unread book by a favorite author. This also took me a bit to figure out, and then I was like, oh, actually, I know exactly what I'm going to read, and that is going to be I think it's Eyolf? Eyolf, by Ibsen. I am working my way through the plays of Ibsen, and this is the next one on the list. I have, I think, 3 more. So Little Eyolf it will be. I think it's about 180 pages or so. So yeah, that's going to be my August pick for Ibsen. For B2 is to read, which is the center card, often the free space. And for this one, we are reading one of Berna's favorite genres, which are historical fiction, mystery, and romance. Out of those 3, it probably isn't a surprise that I went with romance. And so I'm going to read A Big Surprise for Valentine's Day by Jackie Lau. This is the 4th book in the Holiday with the Wongs series, which is a series of contemporary romance novellas. And I'm really excited. This is actually the 4th and final title, which would finish another series. It's not intentional, but it seems to be a bit of a theme. So I'm going for it. So I'm looking forward to it. I've really enjoyed these so far. They're really great contemporary romances. They are quite spicy, but not only spicy. So it's been, I think it's a really good combination, and I've been enjoying all of the ones that I've read. So next prompt is B3, 2nd book in a series. Okay, so this one actually kind of stumped me. Because it's so specific, 2nd book in a series. I have a couple of titles from the library. Like, I have this one called Cybernia, Monkey See, Monkey Don't, which is the 2nd in the Cybernia series, but I haven't read the first one. I am in the middle of reading the first book in this one. It's a Star Wars series called Adventures in Wild Space, and this one's The Nest. So I'm in book 1, and it's quite a fast read and illustrated. So that's a possibility. I also might read Holiday Inn by James Howe. This is the 2nd in the Bunnicula series. Bunnicula is it's a kid's illustrated book I got from the library that was about actually a dog and a cat who the family brings home a bunny, but they think, or at least the dog thinks, do they both think that the bunny is a vampire? So Bunnicula, Bunny, Dracula. So I might read that one. The series is available on Scribd. Or I also have volume 1 and 2 of B-Stars. B-Stars? I think it's B-Stars. B-Stars, which is a manga series. So if I read the first volume, I can read volume 2. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to read the 2nd book in a series, but from those options, it's either going to be a manga or a kid series. I was surprised when I looked at my spreadsheet. I actually did not have many options where I'd read book 1 and wanted to continue. It wasn't like there was tons of series that I am not interested in, but there were just not a lot where most of the ones that I wanted to continue, I had continued. That'd be a better way to say it. And both are true. Okay, so on to the next line in the bingo. We are looking at C1. And for that, the prompt is a work less than 100 pages, which was my suggestion. And I actually totally thought if it got picked that I would read the Jackie Lau Valentine's Day book, but it's over 100 pages, so whoops, it's like 114. Anyway, so with the prompt of a work less than 100 pages, I am going to go with Rogues and the House by Robert E. Howard. This is the 7th in the Conan the Barbarian series, or at least the 7th in the order in which I'm reading them. I forgot to write down here how many pages it is. Most of the short stories are between 40 to 60 pages, so I will be reading that and continuing that series. I'm not sure how I feel about that series, to be honest, but when the titles are so short, it's usually easy just to keep going. It's not necessarily the best way to make decisions, but I was happy to have something to read. And actually, that one was more challenging than I thought, even though it was my suggestion. Whoops. But I think I love reading shorter works, honestly. I really do. And I think all the Baby Mouse titles are under 100 pages, so I could have easily picked those. They're usually 96 pages. So, okay, but moving right along, C2, the prompt is a beach read. This one was tough because I don't do beach reads. I don't do seasonal reading, but I finally came up with Journey Under the Sea by R.A. Montgomery, and this is a choose your own adventure, and it actually is choose your own adventure 2, so maybe I could cheat and use it for that. So yeah, but there's a lot of there's a lot of endings, so it might be a short read, but I haven't I've gotten several choose your own adventures throughout the summer, but I haven't read almost any of them. I read one that was like a middle grade YA, but it didn't actually have lots of choices. But I figured in terms of the beach read, well, one, I mean, it's under the sea, so it's near a beach, hopefully. But I thought just in terms of the spirit of the prompt, that it would be something that generally you would read all in one go, and or that you would want to read lots of it at the same time. And I feel like choose your own adventures are best when you read it all at once. So hopefully that counts. That's sort of going to be my take on the prompt, because it's actually a goal of mine not to do seasonal reading because it gets me in trouble. So, and it doesn't, and so I had to find a way around it. So I hope I did. Okay, next up for C3, the final prompt is a book with the letters B-E-R-N-A on the cover, which is of course Berna's name, and I am going to go with the ABCs of Triangle, Square, Circle, the Bauhaus design theory, because there are just so many words. There are so many words, so it's easy to get it actually all in here. I think even most of it is. No, not most of it is there, but it's all in there. This is a nonfiction art book about the Bauhaus Art Institute, or is it Art Institute? The famous art school, Bauhaus. So I am looking forward to reading this. I have already started it, but I haven't read it for a bit. Wow, yeah, no, I'm on page 10, so I got a lot to go. It's not... But it is quite small writing. And yeah, so, but that page will be not that long. But there's thinking involved. Ooh. Oh, can't wait till I get to that and get to learn about whatever they're talking about there. So this one has Berna's name in the title. And also as a backup, I did also pick out Beauty and the Beast of Paradise Lost, which does have all the letters. Does it? B-E-R-N-A. Yeah, so it is all there. The N is in the and. I almost wasn't there. So this is volume 1 of a manga. This is also one of the picks for the August Monochrome Manga Club that Di from Diasis19 hosts. I'll put a link to her announcement video down below for you to check out. I've had this one on my radar, but I hesitated about it because I haven't read Paradise Lost, so I'm a little concerned it might spoil that. I imagine that's actually I don't know, but I think Paradise Lost is on my those books list, and I imagine it's one of those titles that, generally speaking, I probably do know the premise of, or whatever the big whatever is, but still I want to read the work. Or I think I've seen it represented in a series. I think so. I remember someone I know made an offhand comment about a series, and I was like, really? It's like, I hadn't read the source. So anyway, but yeah, so I'm looking, but I don't know if that's true. Maybe she's just lost. I don't know how much of a tie-in it has to Paradise Lost. So anyway, but I am looking forward to checking that out, and it has all of the letters in as well. So some of these I do have more than one pick. I think that is sort of my way these days, just to get more options. Seems to have more success, to be honest, more chance of success. The more tightly I try and fit something, I feel like the lesser successful I am. The less amount of success I have. So options are good. And that's second book in a series. That one I'm going to be curious as to what I end up picking for that. So those are the titles that I have picked for Berna's Bookish video, or Berna's Bookish bingo. So happy Booktube anniversary to Berna. Go check out her channel if you have not done so already. I do have a couple of other titles that I do want to make progress in, for titles or series that I want to make progress in for in the month of August, and one of which of course is, yes, Les Miserables, which I've been talking about, by Victor Hugo. So this is a title I've been working on very consistently this year, and my goal for the month is 110 pages, so I want to get to 1,084. So that is my goal, to stay on track for finishing it by the end of the year. I will finish this creepy this creepy volume and get onto the final volume. I chopped it up into 5 volumes. So yeah, so I'll get to have the back cover in August, and yeah, and then we'll be getting near to the end. So that's good. And then I also have a couple series that I want to make progress in. I've been reading the Wonder Woman 2011, I think, run. I don't know all of the terms for the comic things, but yeah, so I've been reading the bind-ups for these. This is number 7, but I have to read 6, 7, 8, and 9 to complete the series, so I'm getting close, so I want to stay on track. I'm not necessarily promising to finish the series, but maybe at least get 2 in, and looking forward to it. There's a fair amount of mythology in this set of Wonder Woman bind-ups, and I have been enjoying it. Not quite as much as I had hoped, but I have still been enjoying it. I also want to continue the manga for Devil's line, and I am well into this one. I only have 6 left. I have to read 9 through 14 to finish the series. I don't think I finished a manga series this year, so once I realized I was like past the halfway point, I was like, oh, I should keep going. So again, not promising to finish it this month, but maybe at least get 3 volumes in to make some good progress there. And then of course, what I've been doing all summer has been enjoying the library, and I do want to continue to do that. I don't know if I mentioned this before, I probably have, but if I haven't, this is not actually like the library that I go to, but it is a Toronto library. This is the big reference library down at Yonge and Bloor. It's an absolutely beautiful building. It's so just it's just extraordinary. I remember studying there, not very often. I went to art school, but I did have to go there for my projects. But it's also where Bookends is, which is the bookstore that I like to go because their prices just can't be beat. Honestly, they're the best. So I am hoping to go to the library maybe in the fall, go to the reference library and go to Bookends there, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I have to see how things go. Still sort of seeing... I'm not doing a lot of shopping in person type stuff recently. I did get my booster. I meant to mention that in my Friday reads. I got my second booster just yesterday, so I'm really happy that they finally made that available in Ontario. I didn't mean that's such a tangent. Anyway, but and if you can get yours, get it. If you can, if it's available, and if you can, it sounded like not everyone knew about the second booster, so at least here in Ontario it is available, so check your local information. And yeah, so I think I actually will be enjoying the library, because lots of these books are from the library books, library sequels, and then of course Mammals. Yes, Mammals. I mean, I think the chances of me finishing this before the end of the month is very low, as is this. I don't know. Maybe I'll get into it and I'm sure I flew through it the first time I read it, but that was back in the day when I used to only read one title at a time, whereas now I tend to read, well, we won't even go there. But, yeah, I tend to only read, sort of 5... I tend to read 10 to 15 minutes of 5 different books. I like that. I think it happened during the May Reading Challenge last year, and it just stuck. That was sort of how I did my reading at that time, and I ended up really enjoying it, so I stuck with it, and it makes you feel better of having so many things on the go at the same time. I actually honestly do not know if I'll ever go back to just reading one book at a time. I really don't, but I think that's in part because, as you can see from these selections, is that I don't tend to read a lot of novels. None of these, other than Les Mis, I think is an adult novel. It's even kids and YA and nonfiction and manga and comics and short stories. I like variety. Anyway, and maybe, at some point that'll change yet again. I think it's just helpful to know what you're enjoying and what works for you, and be okay if it changes, because the truth is, if you don't acknowledge that it's changing, but it's changed, then you're just sort of working against yourself. And of course, if you want to change your habits, you can. But if you're enjoying things, or if it's working towards your goals, or if it's doing what you need it to do, then that's a good thing. So just work with that. Work with things instead of against things. Unless that's not, for stuff like reading, there's definitely change that needs to happen. And that's, in terms of the world. And that's something that you don't just sit by. But in terms of, knowing what works for you, and how to make your habits work and all of that good stuff. I think it's better to work with the truth of what is, whether that's to change it or to be okay with it. So it's important to know those things. So anyway, I went on so many tangents here at the end. But so links down below for everything that I've mentioned and all of the titles that I've mentioned. Let me know, are you participating in Berna's Bookish Bingo? I can't wait to start. I haven't done lots of readathons this year, and I am happy to be back at it. And I think it's going to be an awesome month. Okay, thank you so much for watching.